What's up, wrestling fans? Welcome to another episode of the Smark Out Moment Smack Talk podcast. I'm your host, as always, Tony Mango, and joining me on this episode, we've got Callum Wiggins.
So many questions.
And we've got the answers.
I mean, I hope so. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty short.
The main answer is 4. It's always 4. Unless it's 5. We also have Kaylin Ferris.
So in honor of all the questions, I am wearing a suit that has question marks all over it, sort of like the Riddler or Matthew Lesko from those infomercials.
You should do that for the next trivia thing that you host.
That'd be great.
And you should not do any riddles. And if anybody's like, hey, where are the riddles? Just be like, hey, fuck you, pal. It's not my game. People call me the trivia-er.
That's right.
I'm the Quizler, not the Riddler.
Real quick side note, for people who don't know too many things about like the deeper depths of Batman lore, Riddler's awesome. Riddler's the fucking man. If they write him well, the Riddler is great. When they do the Frank Gorshin stuff where he's like basically this kooky idiot, he kind of sucks. But if you want to know a character that really sucks, that's Riddler Light, the Clue Master. He is the same exact thing, except he leaves a clue at the crime, and it's like, there's always clues at a crime. That's why they're clues. Like,
I've got a raging clue.
So yeah, Clue Master sucks. Anyway, what we're going to be talking about today is we are going to do our main event for this week of the mailbag for October. So the guys had sent in some questions. We're going to answer the majority of them. Some of them we didn't quite get around to answering, and that's because we've answered them before, or I just didn't want to, or something like that. Sometimes that's how it ends up working. But let's get right into this with Frankie's questions first. Number 1, if Daniel Bryan was never retired, how would WWE be different today? Would he be the general manager? Would he be champion, etc.? I think he would guaranteed not be anywhere near the general manager side of things. I think that he'd be one of the top baby faces in the main event picture of SmackDown, possibly a champion, maybe not, feuding with people like AJ Styles and a couple other people that are in the top. And the fact that he would be still there means that 1 or 2 other people wouldn't be in that main event kind of spot.
Yeah, I agree. I think he would not be GM anywhere close to that. But I think he would have had at least one more championship run in him.
Yeah.
For the heavyweight title. Now, I think it would have been great to see him in feuds with people like, Kevin Owens and AJ Styles and Finn Balor and stuff like that. But, that's why we got 2K18, right? We can simulate it.
Yeah, I would assume that he probably would have stuck around more the upper mid-card level before the brand split, still try and fight for the United States or Intercontinental Championship, because that seemed to be the place on the card they were trying to position him into post WrestleMania 31. But I think as soon as the brand split happened, he probably would have gone to SmackDown, and I think he would have been pushed as like one of the top stars, probably would have won the WWE Championship a couple of times.
I think it would have been fun to see some sort of feud between Daniel Bryan and Braun Strowman.
What feud? That? He just gets wrecked.
Exactly.
Yeah, if he wasn't retired now, then he's going to be retired after that.
That's when he just goes, "Am I finished with you?" And Bryan's like, "Yes, yes."
I think Daniel Bryan's best role probably would have been to. I think he would have been able to put over Samoa Joe really strong.
Yeah, that would have been a really good feud.
They had a lot of great matches in Ring of Honor, so they definitely could have translated them onto the main roster.
That's when the fans that are out there are like, "No, Bryan Danielson was so much better against."
I can't remember what Joe's real name is. Definitely not Joe, I don't think.
Solafu something or other?
Yeah.
Samoa James.
And yes, I'm aware that Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson has wrestled a lot of these guys in other federations, but I'm talking about on the big WWE stage.
Yeah, if it happened before, it doesn't count. That's basically WWE's philosophy. For the first time ever, AJ Styles versus Finn Balor and stuff like that. Question number 2, if you were in charge, what would you have done with Ryback, Bad News Barrett, and Cody Rhodes in WWE? Well, Ryback, first things first, he should have won that Royal Rumble that year and beaten Big Show for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 29.
That's the first thing I've got written down in my notes.
that I don't know why that didn't happen. And instead it ended up being, let's have the Big Show lose the belt to Del Rio so he can feud with Swagger, but we're not even going to give them entrances at WrestleMania. And let's put Ryback against Mark Henry and have him lose. And that was a fucking travesty. So let's stick on Ryback, and then we'll circle around the other two. What else would you guys have done with Ryback?
Like you, Tony, I would have had him win the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 29, then become one of like the big stars on SmackDown for a little while. Eventually, I'd have him transition into kind of the heel bully role that he eventually took on in the mid-card. But because he would have had that World Championship credibility, it would have probably worked a little bit more. Or he would have been able to stay in kind of the upper mid-card range as opposed to just bullying people like Kalisto or whoever that production guy is backstage that you shoved the fish sandwich into their face.
That was great. I loved Bully Ryback. Just that.
Oh, yeah. I agree. I would have had him in the upper mid to maybe even main event heel status because he's got the look. He has the personality. He can pull it off. He's credible. And so I think they really kind of dropped the ball with him a lot, especially when they kept putting him on the pre-show against Kalisto and shit like that. What the fuck? What a wasted opportunity.
For Bad News Barrett, I'm going to just say something that probably is a little bit controversial that almost nobody would agree with. I think that he should have been built up to not just be a world champion, but I think that one of those Triple H matches from The Undertaker at WrestleMania should have been Bad News Barrett.
Against The Undertaker or Triple H?
I think Undertaker, instead of fighting Triple H 2 times after fighting Shawn Michaels 2 times, I still got to say something that I said back then. Shawn Michaels Undertaker, awesome. One of the best matches ever. The retirement match should have been against Triple H. Shawn Michaels, Triple H. Undertaker that year should have fought either Barrett or Sheamus. And then the year after that should have fought Barrett or Sheamus. And there never should have been a second Triple H match, let alone a third one.
I guess that's fair. There's a lot of people that Undertaker didn't get a chance to face at WrestleMania, and he fought too many people, in multiple matches. So,
believe me, it feels weird to say that. I think that Sheamus should have been one of them.
I think around about 2010, 2011, he would have merited it.
Yeah,
beyond that point, probably not.
Back when he won world titles for no reason.
Yeah, I would not have put Bad News Barrett in the main title picture for the heavyweight title. I think he's a good upper mid card. But I don't know. There's just so many better people, I think, that deserve that main event spot. I like him, though. I wish they would have kept him doing the bad news gimmick and just building it up and making it, worse and worse or better, I guess, every single time. But they never really ran with that the way I thought they should.
No, one of my first things is that they should have turned him babyface off the back of the Bad News Barrett stuff.
Oh, yeah, it was over.
He was getting huge reactions, and after that point, I think he could have been somebody. And again, I don't think that it would have been a world championship gimmick, but probably around about the Intercontinental Championship level. I mean, he was there pretty much most of his career anyway, but I think that was a good position for him. And then I would have had him transition into an authority figure.
He would. I mean, he's doing that in some other kind of thing now. The Defiant, I think it is.
Yeah, the former What Culture Wrestling Association. Yeah, I think he would have worked well because obviously his mic skills were one of his best assets. He'd be very good on either a babyface or heel side, just making the decisions. I'm afraid I've got some bad news. I've put you in a match with The Undertaker or something like that.
You're going to go one-on-one with The Undertaker.
Holla, holla.
As far as Cody Rhodes goes, again, world title reign at some point. I think that he should have been steadily kind of bumped up into that main event kind of caliber, and as a babyface too. And only really one world title reign. I don't think I would have gone overboard and been like, hey, he's a 10-time champion or something. But I think that he had the talent that he could have been doing some kind of a fight back to the top type of story, and that he could have won on maybe the SmackDown world title and been one of those guys that at this point in his career, he could have been that main event upper mid card type of guy feuding with the Bobby Roodes and the Dolph Ziggler. I think there could have been a good feud there. A lot of those kind of people like that. Sami Zayn could have had a really good feud with Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, I agree. I think he would have been a good star on SmackDown. I think they should have dropped the Stardust gimmick sooner.
Yeah.
I think that after a while it did more harm than good. And you could tell he wasn't happy doing it after a while, too. He should have been in the upper mid. I don't know if I would have given him a world title run after that point, but I think definitely like the IC championship or US title, that upper mid sort of position, I think would work well for him, especially at SmackDown.
I would have had him like shed the Stardust persona after beating Goldust at WrestleMania. Like I would have had Cody retire Goldust at WrestleMania because Goldust hasn't really done anything since.
No, I mean, he did
that's how
the
it's
Golden
viewed anyway.
Truth bullshit, and ugh.
Yeah, nothing of value. It would have probably meant more to him to just retire and have like a big WrestleMania moment. Then I would have kept him as kind of like a heel, which is more along the lines of his dashing persona, but not like too far along those lines. And then, even though it sounds quite callous to say, I would have used Dusty's death to push him towards the main event.
Yeah,
as a babyface.
Definitely. It sounds mean, but it's like, why not? You know, kind of like
it's not like Kalisto trying to channel the death of Eddie Guerrero. Dusty Rhodes was his father or something like that. It was his father, so it does make sense that he'd be wanting to live up to his father's reputation. And I wouldn't give him multiple world championship reigns, but he could probably use that to push him towards an underdog babyface winning the title from some big heel, like I don't know, maybe if Triple H or AJ Styles or something along those lines was holding the title at some point, it would probably be a good story to have Cody win it.
maybe even a Randy Orton.
Oh, that actually makes the most sense in the world because again they have their history as well, so it would be a good story.
Could be like, I was the head of Legacy, and like, let's talk about your father's legacy and your legacy, and then it could be like, hey, fuck your legacy, and that kind of thing.
As long as it doesn't descend into my dad's still alive type territory, because WWE can do that type of thing.
Oh yeah,
my dad's still alive, and this whole time he was Hornswoggle.
I killed Dusty with an RKO out of nowhere.
Let's see. What is your opinion of NXT Takeover War Games? I'm assuming the idea of them bringing it back. Cool.
It's an interesting idea. I don't know what the stakes are in it. I'd like to know if there was like, I would like a situation where it's going to be 3-on-3, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have a situation where, because you got the tag champions in there of Sanity, I'd say the tag titles were on the line, but they only go to the, I'd say, the Authors of Pain or Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, and then the other three, if their team wins the match, then they get the next shot at the NXT Championship at the next takeover. Just to add a little bit of like reason to it, because it just seems that they're just doing this because the teams don't like each other, which is fine. But I'd like to see, if it's such a big momentous thing, I'd like to see some sort of stakes attached to it.
Yeah, I think they're doing this because they don't want a title change to happen anytime soon necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, let's put them in a match that doesn't have to be for the titles, which I'm cool with. It's War Games. Yeah. Could be kind of fun.
So that way you can have them lose without necessarily looking weak.
Yep.
I guess they do have to put the Undisputed Era over in this type of match, even though they could still like not win the match but not lose it.
Yeah, AOP could pin Sanity, and then Undisputed Era could still get some kind of a title shot down the line.
Yeah.
Let's see. What are we at? We're at, how do you feel about Lars Sullivan? He's not bad, but I kind of don't get it. Like, he's big and he's tough looking, but something's off. You know what I mean?
He's not very... It's not like a Braun Strowman type monster. He does look a bit like Gargoyle-ish. That's probably the best way I'd describe him. I've been quite impressed so far, but he's been working matches with the likes of Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch in NXT, and they're really good at like just essentially throwing themselves to him and just letting him slam them about as hard as possible. So they're making him look better than he probably is right now. I just don't know where he fits in, and also if they haven't cut any promos, then he's gonna die pretty quickly because he doesn't have that monster voice to go with the look.
Does he have a manager or anything right now, or a mouthpiece?
No,
Villain?
he cuts promos about him being like well spoken and such.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I'm
don't
not
like
really
it.
too familiar with him. I saw when he attacked No Way Jose, but I haven't seen any of his matches yet. I'm not up to date on NXT, which plays into one of the later questions too, talking about NXT being the best product or not. So saw that one later on the list,
Yeah, it's
which
coming down.
I'll have to defer to you guys on that one,
Spoiler alert.
right?
Yeah.
Next question is, what other sports do you watch? None.
Is that question kind of presuming that wrestling's a sport? We
Yeah.
don't want to ruin
Sports
the surprise for him.
entertainment. Yes.
Yeah, we don't want to ruin it for him, do we?
Should we say, guys? I don't know.
Wrestling is fun, so much fun. I watch
Wrestling is favorable. Yes.
I watch football, which I'm going to call football because that's the way the British call it.
It makes more sense.
Yes.
I'm 100% down with quote unquote soccer should be football, and what we
Footy.
call football should be soccer because you
You call
sock
it-
into people.
That's right.
Like,
Callum, do you call it footy for short?
I mean, I don't technically. I know people that do, but
Okay.
it's a little too colloquial, a little lowbrow for my taste.
That's what I hear. People watching the footy, and I'm like, come on, guys.
I also like to watch tennis and Formula One, like Grand Prix racing as well. Occasionally I'll watch boxing as well, but it's a little more of a niche thing to me. It has to be the right fight.
Yeah, I don't really watch any sports. Not really into football or hockey. I can go to baseball games and watch them in person, but I
Yeah.
can't watch baseball on television. It just doesn't do it for me. I don't have any teams that I don't have a team that's like my team. I'll occasionally watch basketball on television. If somebody else is watching it, I'll watch it and enjoy it because I like how it's fast paced and high scoring. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a close association with any professional sports or college sports. So sometimes I'll watch it a little bit when it's on, but I don't really care for it too much.
Not
American
much into
sport-
the sports ball.
American sports like confuse me because it seems to be there's always like this big flurry of activity for about 10 seconds and then there's just a load of waiting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Just
about fandom too. Like everybody's going nuts in my area about the Eagles. Apparently they're doing well. There's a whole lot of hoopla about that. I don't give a shit because I don't watch football. Football's the easiest for me to watch though. I can't stand watching basketball. And baseball's pretty boring, but like you said, if you go to a baseball game, then that could be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But football's, if I'm going to watch anything, it's going to be football or like UFC or whatever. But even then, it's like people are like, they'll just jump on the bandwagon, and the next thing you know, people will be like, oh, yeah, my Phillies won something, or like, yeah, my fucking Flyers, they're the fucking shit. And it's like, you weren't posting anything about this until they started to get somewhere, and now you're
Right.
jumping on this train, and I hate that crap. So
So
it's almost, and then I like though that Philly fans are like the type that if they win something, they riot. If they lose, they riot. It's just sort of like, you goddamn fucking Phillies, you can't do shit. I'm gonna bash this car up. Yeah, the Phillies won. I'm gonna bash this car up.
So
Great.
as guys who are also admittedly not super into sports, how do you does this I'm sure you encounter this all the time. Just I'll be out somewhere and just talking with some random people that I don't know, and some dude will be like, hey, so what'd you think about that play in overtime last night? Like, what are you talking about?
You know what's one of the best go-to things if you have to say something? Be like, I don't know, man. What do you think? It's you got to do what you got to do. Like just one of those kind of generic things, and people
Oh, man, that
people
was crazy.
fill
I
it
couldn't
in.
believe it. Yeah.
I tell you, you got to swap this team around. You know, get the right players up there.
What were they thinking?
Can you believe the coach made that decision? God.
Or if you're in Philly, just like smash something, and they'll be like, "Fuck yeah!" I'm gonna take Caroline to a Phillies game sometime, somewhat soon. I've got like a voucher for 2 tickets, and she's never gone to a game before. So I have to like tell her ahead of time, like, oh, make sure that no matter what, you don't wear anything that's any other colors for other than like the Phillies type of thing, because like somebody could get into a fight, that kind of a thing, But it's funny shit. Sports ball sucks. That's basically what.
Although sometimes I will go to the parties, like if somebody's having a Super Bowl party.
Oh,
or
yeah.
The big thing around here is the OSU Michigan game, and people always do parties for that. And I always am usually invited to a few different parties. I'll just pick whichever one has the best snacks.
That's exactly what I do.
Like, what do you got? Pulled pork? Okay. What do you got over here? Nachos? Okay.
Are they pulled pork nachos? Oh, well, then fuck, I'm there. Like, now I'm hungry. Another question here. Do you like SpongeBob? Nope. Totally missed a boat on that one. I think it's only for stoners, basically. Stoners and kids.
I have never watched an episode of SpongeBob in my life.
I think I've watched about like 3/4 of a full episode. And like little bits and pieces here and there of other stuff, and I just find it obnoxious.
I don't know. I kind of missed the boat. I was I was probably the wrong age for it because I'm 40 now. I think it came out in 99 or something like that. And I was, in my mid 20s. So I don't know. Wasn't really watching SpongeBob. Never really got into it.
I was 7 years old when SpongeBob came out, so it became
perfect demographic.
Yeah, it became a huge part of my childhood up until about the age of like 12, 13, where I stopped watching and started looking at boobs. You could say that I found him very absorbing because he's a sponge. Get it?
That's the poorest pun I've ever heard. Porous. Good.
I feel like a scrub.
Oh boy.
Patrick. That's a guy.
Oh,
yeah.
If I knew more of the characters, I'd have some kind of a pun. But isn't there a squid thing too?
Yeah, Squidward.
Squidward. I was going to call him Squid Bob.
Yeah, the depressed octopus.
And I know Krabby Patties is a thing because everybody on Facebook and all the other social media said that they work at Krabby Patties or something or whatever it's called. Krusty Krab. The Krusty Krab. Yeah. That's it.
They work at the Krusty Krab and yeah. And there's like a secret recipe for Krabby Patties, but like it's never discovered. And I just assume they just ground up crabs.
It's like, are all these millennials really working at the Krusty Krab?
There's only like 2 employees at the Krusty Krab, so
okay.
They're millennials. They're not working. Says a millennial. How do you feel about the Bludgeon Brothers? They're the same as they were before they got hammers now. That's it. I'm okay with it.
Those promo packages have been awful. It's like really low grade acting. I always thought Luke Harper was quite a good promo, but just hearing him talk like he's never said any words in his life before, pretty much like these are the first words he's ever uttered, is it's really like imagine the fact that like around about WrestleMania time this year we thought that Luke Harper was going to be fighting for the WWE Championship. And now he's just wandering around the woods with hammers.
Now his hammer, when he hits the hammer down on whatever it's supposed to be, isn't good enough, and Eric Rowan needs to finish the job.
Yeah, it's always a good sign that your team's going to do well when you rely on Eric Rowan to do the finishing work.
I hate that he's still wearing that sheet mask.
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah, if you're gonna do this new gimmick of like the Bludgeon Brothers, then surely you want a bit more of a separation. They still look the same as what they are, like you said.
And I think their theme song should be performed by MC Hammer.
Yeah, why not? Have them come out, do the thing that they did with like Brodus Clay, where there's like all these vignettes of like he's gonna kick your ass and stuff, and then it's like somebody call my mama. Like instead, it's just like the Bludgeon Brothers are gonna finally have their first match here as the Bludgeon Brothers, and then you're just gonna start hearing, yep. And instead of wearing that jumpsuit that Eric Rowan has, he's gonna wear parachute pants.
Yes.
Why not? Go for it. It'd make a little bit more sense that they would be working with the Fashion Police, which I love that they've been doing all this Quentin Tarantino stuff recently, because Reservoir Dogs is one of my favorite movies of all time. So the fact that they're doing little references, we can't both be Mr. Pink and all that. Like,
I love the fact they've managed to single-handedly get the Ascension over.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
What are we on that? What are your favorite and least favorite holidays?
Favorite would probably be Halloween, with Thanksgiving a close second. So Halloween and Thanksgiving, because I like all the spooky stuff. I like when people decorate their houses with fake gravestones and fake spider webs and skeletons, and I dig all that stuff. Dressing up in costume, candy, it's all good.
You really dig the graves more than anything.
Hey, yeah, exactly. And Thanksgiving, because I like food. It's all comfort food. I like that. My least favorite, Christmas. Not a Christmas fan. I
Really?
don't like. Yeah, no. Well, first of all, it's usually associated with snow. Not a fan of snow. I hope I never see snow again in my life. I don't like the
Well, ha! You're blind. There you go.
like. I like giving, but I don't like the obligatory gift exchange. It's like, oh, it's so commercialized. It's like, oh, it's the all the commercials have jingle bells in them. It's like, oh, you got to start spending money, guys. Come on, spend money, spend money. It's like, I don't tell me what the fuck to do. If I want to buy something nice for people I like, I'm going to do it. Don't give me all this pressure to. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that. Christmas music, meh. Christmas food, meh.
Better than Thanksgiving music.
Oh, love Thanksgiving music.
I'll go for the reverse then and say that Christmas is my favourite. I like spending time with family. It's time where people just get together, and for some people that's a bit of a nuisance. But we've got quite a tight knit family, so it's nice to see them, even if it's just for like one day where everyone's in the same place. And my least favourite is Halloween.
What?
I don't like fancy dress. I don't like the costumes. I don't like the trick or treating aspect of it, with people essentially people knocking on houses begging for stuff. I wouldn't appreciate that any other day. So why would I do it? I just want every other day, just someone's just wandering, just saying, "Can I have food or money or something like that?"
Well, see, that's basically every time I go anywhere in town, especially downtown, I get that kind of. I can't walk a half a block without somebody begging me for money or.
That's when you give them just tricks instead.
Yeah, you just give them an apple instead.
I would say Christmas is probably my favorite, and oddly enough, it's not necessarily just for the idea of like you get to give gifts to people that you like and all that, because I don't like the commercialization of that either, and the obligatory kind of nature. And I always feel like I don't deserve any gifts, so that's always kind of awkward.
Yes,
when
I get gifts. And when I get Christmas gifts, it makes me feel bad. It's like, oh,
yeah, it's like it's nerve wracking, because it's like, how do you respond to it? And you go like, oh, thanks, and it's like, oh, I didn't act happy enough, and but I do like giving. Pressure. And more so than anything, I just like the colors and stuff. Like, I don't like browns and like warmer colors. So Thanksgiving for me, everything's like brown leaves and orange and all that other kind of stuff. I don't really like that all that much. Christmas, on the other hand, you have a lot of blues, a lot of like silver. That kind of color scheme is a lot better. Everything's much cooler. I like snow, so if it snows, that's cool. I like Christmas lights more than any other kind of thing that you would ever decorate for any other holiday. Like, Easter's ugly as shit. You have all these like random pastel colors and these eggs all over the place and chickens and stuff, and it's like, huh? Doesn't make really a whole lot of sense to me. One of my favorite little comedy bits from somebody, I think it's Adam Ferrara, he's like, Easter's the hardest thing to explain to somebody. Like, as a little kid, you go, hey, Mom, why do we eat jelly beans? Oh, it was Christ's last meal. It's like, none of it makes any fucking sense. He's like, Easter, the holiday where you celebrate Jesus coming back from the grave as a fucking bunny who hides colored eggs. It's like, but if you're going to talk about like other holidays, I mean, you got to say for least favorite is stuff that like Arbor Day, like nobody gives a shit about those holidays. Nobody's going to be like, my favorite is Columbus Day. Like, I'm not as big into Thanksgiving as most people are, so I don't love Thanksgiving all that much. But
to me, Thanksgiving is all the good parts of Christmas without all the bad parts of Christmas. If you take, to me, Christmas and you take out all the stuff I don't like, it's basically Thanksgiving. You get to be together with family, you get to have a nice big meal.
See, I don't like the meal relaxing. As much.
See, I don't know. Those are my favorite parts. I don't like the songs and all the movies and all the mandatory gift exchange, and I could do without that shit. It's too commercialized.
The Christmas things that push me over the edge as far as Christmas being my favorite thing. I do like some of the songs. Oh Holy Night is great, and Silent Night's good too. Carol of the Bells, that's another one. But every year I always watch Home Alone 1 and 2. That's just like my only Christmas tradition. I watch Home Alone 1 and 2 in the same day, and I make sure that I order pizza that night every single year, because I'm not going to watch those movies without eating pizza. What the hell? They make pizza is a big point of that, you know. So I don't know. I love those movies, so that's another reason for me to like that. There's no I don't love horror movies, so Halloween, I don't do the whole horror kind of thing.
Yeah, same here.
Oh, those are fun.
And
That's
there's
fun.
no Easter movies at all, because Easter blows. You alluded to this earlier. Is NXT the best WWE product right now? I used to say yeah. Now I think that all three are tied. I think there's good and bad of everything.
I back NXT as the best out of the three, just because I think there's the short shows that out an hour long, so it's bite size, so don't really get to too tired out by it. They're putting on some really decent television matches now as well, so it's you're compelled to watch outside of just going to takeover. And I think they're building up a lot of good characters. I think it's a very more natural way of building people up, as opposed to WWE stuff, which is very 50-50 and stop-start. So I personally think it's the best one.
I'm not up to date, like I said earlier. So I used to watch it, very consistently. But in 2017, I've only caught a handful of episodes. So I'm leaving it up to you guys to tell me which ones are worth watching. I know there's some guys on there, guys and gals that are coming up soon that are worth watching out for, but just don't have enough hours in the week.
Yeah, it's hard to catch up to all this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's anything you're really missing that's too super crazy. I mean, super crazy is not on there.
Yeah,
but
I wouldn't say it's monumental stuff, but I think it flows really well as a show compared to other ones. There's still stuff that I don't like about it. I'm still baffled by the idea that people like Lars Sullivan and Aleister Black are cutting promos when their character's supposed to be kind of not so much mysterious, but a little bit more subdued and outside of the traditional wrestler. So to have them have to almost conform to doing stuff that other wrestlers are doing just doesn't feel natural to me. But some of my favourite feuds going right now, the Velveteen Dream versus Aleister Black, is one of my favourite feuds going right now. I think it's really interesting. So that's why I'm digging into that into the yellow brand right now. And they're going to be crowning a new women's champion soon as well. So it's exciting stuff.
You think Almas is winning?
Oh no, I mean no, new women's champion.
New women's champion. I thought you said you're going to be crowning a new champion. I just went straight to that one. Yeah, so.
Well, they could do. Probably not, but
So this is going to be a good list here. Your favorite and least favorite cereal. I've got a bunch that I'm going to toss out there, so tell me what you guys think. I don't have necessarily number one, but I know that I've got a top tier, a second tier, that kind of a thing. Top tier, we're talking Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Agreed.
Frosted Flakes.
That's mid, upper mid, yes. That's
one of my favorites, yeah.
Lucky Charms. Underrated.
Nope.
No, never tried.
Nope. Lucky Charms, not so great. Overrated.
Honey Nut Cheerios.
Good. Yep. Upper mid.
And still on the top tier, Reese's Puffs.
Yeah. I don't know if I ever read that.
I don't like peanut butter, so no, definitely.
Tier number 2, Frosted Mini Wheats.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Raisin Bran.
Agreed.
Captain Crunch.
Not so much. That cuts up the roof of your mouth.
Yeah, it does, but there's something about it I like. I just tried the donut version of it. It doesn't taste like donuts, but it's still pretty good.
Oops, all berries.
I've heard of good things. I'd want to try it, but I've just never got around to it.
Yeah, make sure that you don't want to use your mouth the rest of the day after you eat it,
That's
though.
true,
It does cut up the roof of your mouth. Big fan of Corn Pops.
I was just about to bring up Corn Pops, one of my favorites.
And the two other ones that I would put up in my top 2 tiers are Fruity Pebbles and Rice Krispies.
I would substitute Rice Krispies for Cocoa Krispies.
Actually, you know what? I would substitute Rice Krispies for Frosted Krispies. They're better.
I don't know if I've had that version. Yeah.
I miss Frosted Chex. They were really good. And
I
Frosted
also like
Cheerios.
Honey Bunches of Oats with almonds. I like that.
Oh, that's good. I forgot about that one.
Yep.
There was a cereal that was out when I was little that was fucking awesome. And they only made it for a limited amount of time. It was called Quarterback Crunch. And it was little footballs. So good. I've looked for it all over the place. They made it for like one like summer, and that was it.
No, I liked some of the cereals, some of the the media tie-in cereals that I had as a kid growing up, like in the 80s and 90s. Yeah, the C3POs. I had that. I had the Mr. T cereal. I had the there was Nerds, like the candy Nerds, where there's actually 2 flavors of cereal. It looked like a Nerds box. There was one where it was the Nintendo Entertainment cereal.
I remember that
Nintendo
one.
Breakfast System or whatever. It was like Mario and Zelda themed. Those were cool. Stop it, cat.
Sorry.
Some of the other ones. I'm trying to think of the other like media tie-ins. There was a Batman cereal for a while. Yeah, I like all the gimmicky ones.
I'll tell you a cereal that I've never liked, and I always thought that I would. Cookie Crisp.
I was on a Cookie Crisp kick for a while. There was for a while that was like my cereal.
I was always disappointed it didn't taste more like cookies.
I overdid it. No, it's not like cookie-y. It's you have to. I let it soak because that's another one where it's too crispy. So I let it soak and get a little soggy, and then you eat it. I like it. Oh, go ahead.
If we're talking the worst cereal of all time, Sugar Smacks.
See, Sugar Smacks is one that I like, or I have liked in the past. I wouldn't say it's one of the worst. It's all right. But why does it make your pee smell funny? Do you ever notice that?
I've only had it a handful of times, and I've been sick to my stomach eating them. I can't take them.
It's like asparagus. Once you eat it, it's like, why does my pee smell like it now? Another one I would put on the worst is Fruit Loops. Way overrated.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan.
Yeah, not a fan of that.
I like Apple Jacks better if I'm going to go for that.
Right. Even Apple Jacks, they're all right.
That's like once every 7 years I want Apple Jacks.
Mm-hmm.
Callum, any thoughts on these?
I'm not a big cereal eater, so I don't really have too much to contribute. Like Frosted Flakes, these are my go-to. We call them Frosties in the UK.
You like adding IES at the end of things.
Yeah,
watching the footy and eating some Frosties.
Yeah, eating some Frosties at the footies with a couple of bevies. It's great. I don't eat chocolate things generally, so any things like Cocoa Puffs or anything like that.
Those I don't really like. No.
Yeah, so it's just stuff like that is just things that I avoid.
That's why I don't like Cocoa Krispies. I don't like chocolate flavored things. I love chocolate itself, but not chocolate flavored. So I'm surprised I like Reese's Puffs. But the peanut butter gives it a little bit of a kick, I guess. I don't know.
And regular Cheerios and Wheaties are just so bland. I can't eat that crap.
Same with Kicks.
Yeah.
Or Tricks. Wait. Kicks. That's the little balls, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Tricks are the little
approved.
Yeah.
Tricks are for kids.
What are we on there? We're on what are your thoughts on the NXT live match upcoming McIntyre against Cole with Shawn Michaels as the special guest referee? That's pretty cool. I don't quite understand what they're doing, but sure, why not?
Just a live event in San Antonio, so Michaels is already living there, so I guess they could just then just throw him in. I think it's cool. I think that it's good they do these little special things for a couple of live events. It makes people interested in going to them. So it's good.
Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Here's a good one. Cookie dough or cookies and cream? Frankie says cookie dough is the best. Let me tell you, if you are in New York, I recently went to this place. Cookie dough, spelled D-O with like the line over the O, in Greenwich Village. So fucking good. It's like they use pasteurized eggs, so you can just eat the cookie dough. It's not going to like give you salmonella or anything like that. And I had a mix between two. One of them was called the confetti one, and one of them was called Nuts for Nuts, which was like Reese's Pieces and stuff like that. My God, so fucking good. And you can actually you can not only keep the cookie dough and just eat the cookie dough as it is, but you can actually form it into cookies and bake it if you wanted to. And they've got like all this other kind of shit that looks so good. Give me the cookies over the cookie dough, more so. And if you're going to go with cookie dough or cookies and cream, cookies and cream if it's like a milkshake and stuff like that.
Just what I was going to say. Yeah, because I when I read this, I thought we were talking about ice cream necessarily, but you bring up just cookie dough by itself. As far as ice cream, if I'm eating ice cream, like a bowl of ice cream or on a cone, I would say cookie dough I prefer. If we're going for a shake, cookies and cream is probably the best shake. So I would say cookies and cream for a shake, cookie dough for solid ice cream.
I'll go with that dodo.
The dodo?
Yeah.
That dodo is extinct.
That dodo.
Yeah.
John Cena trademark, y'all. So.
That dough over there.
This is a random question. Are you ticklish?
I'm concerned he's asking that question. I don't know. I'm worried to just answer it and then he's just gonna be behind me sometime, just like
Frankie's like, I want to figure it out. Tickle.
Slowly chipping away at our weaknesses.
Mm-hmm. Not so much. The right kind of person touching me in the right kind of way in the right place might elicit a response. But usually not. In fact, I've even like gone as far as practicing not being responsive to it, like kind of shutting it down, like kind of like an itch. Like if you have an itch that you can't scratch and just kind of have to psychologically talk yourself out of it. It's like, no, I can't itch it. Not just gonna not think about it. It's kind of how I am with being tickled. Just because I don't know, I don't like the feeling. It's not funny. It's just very annoying. So I'm gonna say no. I'm not ticklish. So keep your damn hands off me, you dirty ape.
I'd say slightly ticklish. I wouldn't say like I'm majorly ticklish, but it's mainly in like the bottoms of my feet.
I think everybody's feet are probably ticklish.
For the most part, yeah. But yeah, don't get anywhere near me. Stay away.
Yeah, the smart answer is always no and don't try. Would you rather have a pet pig or a pet frog? Give me a frog. Pigs smell like shit, and they're better used for bacon.
I don't know. It depends. If it were one of those tiny little like pygmy pigs, the ones that stay small, I'll say this:
pig me, pig you.
If I can pick it up with one hand easily, then I would like a pig. If it gets bigger than that, I'd rather have a frog. So a tiny pig would be better, but if it's a big pig, I'll take a frog.
Yeah, I'd say frogs. Obviously, the size would be a factor, and they're probably like less maintenance to manage as well. You just get a box of crickets or something like that, and you can just feed it that, rather than having to get a trough and everything sorted as well.
And I know there's some sort of joke here that I'm not getting, but I can't be the only one here who thought of Miss Piggy and Kermit the Frog, right?
Actually, I didn't think about that.
Okay.
No, that slipped my mind.
Okay, I didn't know if that's what we were. All right, cool.
No, the first thing I thought of was pig is great to eat, and I've had frog legs too. So.
Oh yeah, actually yes, I've eaten both in the last month, so there we go.
I went straight to food. Funny enough, the next question actually is another food one. There's a lot of food ones on this one.
I like food questions.
What is your least favorite and your favorite fast food place?
Ooh.
Favorite McDonald's, least favorite Burger King. Straight away.
Least favorite, hands down. I mean, I haven't tried we don't have like a like an In-N-Out around me or like a Carl's Jr. or Hardee's. But out of the ones I have tried, easily the worst. Long John Silver's.
Nah.
Hated everything I've had there.
It all tastes the same, whether you get the chicken or the fish or the fries or hush puppies. It all tastes the same.
Yeah, it's just that weird batter. I don't like it.
They just fry everything in the same batter. Yeah.
I'd go for Wendy's more than Burger King and McDonald's. I like their nuggets better. I like their fries. Well, I haven't tried the nuggets recently in the other one, so I'll give them a little bit of leeway there. But I used to like the nuggets better at the very least. I like the fries better. I like the burgers better. Chick-fil-A is really good. That's up there. And even though I joke about it a lot, especially because of like the commercials and the Simpsons references and stuff like that, I go to Arby's more than anything else, probably.
Yeah, Arby's gets a bad rap. It's not the best food, but it's.
I'm so hungry I could eat at Arby's.
I could eat at Arby's. I would say my least favorite, McDonald's. Just nah.
No, you're wrong.
No, that's.
Why are you so wrong all the time, Kay?
I know. McDonald's just doesn't do it. Like maybe when I was 10 years old or 5, but as a
McDonald's at Christmas.
Adult, no, McDonald's doesn't do it for me anymore. Okay.
I'm gonna go.
You don't like McDonald's or Christmas? God, you really are old.
You're going anti-American here.
Yeah.
No, right?
Those
Wait
are the
till we
two
get to
things
one
that it
about-
should be.
Wait till we get to the one about the protests.
What should be McDonald's at Christmas while watching baseball. Apparently,
Yeah.
that's America.
Yeah.
As far as my favorites go, well, Rally's has the best fries. Rally's or Checkers, depending on the market. I think they have the best fries.
Never even heard of rallies.
Oh, it's good stuff. Let's see.
You're rallying behind it.
Arby's, Burger King. I like Burger King. All right. Wendy's is okay. Chick-fil-A is okay. Taco Bell, I probably eat more than I should just because they're open to 5 a.m.
If you eat any Taco Bell, it's more than you should, but it is good. Like it's not good, but it's good.
Oh yeah. Admittedly, I don't remember the last time I've gone to Taco Bell when there have been other options. It's usually Taco Bell. It's like 2:30 or 3 in the morning. I'm like, fuck, there's no food in the house, or coming home from somewhere. I need food. My options are Steak and Shake or Taco Bell. So Taco Bell it is.
Coming up soon around, I think like the first weekend of November, I'm gonna go to McDonald's for the first time in a while because a buddy of mine and I were talking, and he's like, I think I could eat 60 chicken nuggets. I was like, no fucking way. Tap out at 30. We're gonna put this to the test. We're gonna order two things of the 50 nuggets if we can and see what happens.
I've had 20/20 is my max at the moment.
I don't know how many I can do, but if I would have done this 10 years ago, I would have been able to do more. I'm pretty sure about that.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe I'll die. Compare Kurt Angle and Daniel Bryan as general managers. I think Daniel Bryan's character is more consistent and better.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan is far better as general manager than Kurt Angle is. I mean, he at least manages to pronounce most people's names correctly.
Oh, Jesus. Jinder Mahal,
Mahal.
Asuka.
I'll say that Daniel Bryan is more credible as a manager, but I like seeing Kurt Angle much more on TV.
And I still get a buzz from seeing Kurt Angle in WWE again, which is good. I mean, but Daniel Bryan just does his job better. And in a sense, like, Kurt Angle isn't really, in my mind, influencing whether Raw's good or bad, whereas Daniel Bryan is really influencing whether SmackDown's actually worth watching.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put it this way. When one of them comes out, everybody chants yes. When the other one comes out, everybody chants you suck. Very strange dichotomy that's happening here. What's your opinion on the national anthem protests? I always hated that you would have to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in school, because to me, I was like, I want to try to finish copying my homework at this point, and I don't really see the point that you would have to do this, and I pledge allegiance under God and all this other kind of stuff. But I look at it this way. I don't understand why people are getting so upset about this when they're saying that it disrespects the country.
Mm-hmm.
The point of the country is supposed to be the freedom to be able to protest the fact that there's this kind of thing. So it's more disrespectful to not let somebody do that than it is to let them do that. And they're not doing anything that's actually like disruptive. They're not like trying to shout over the national anthem. Mm-hmm. And they're not stopping other people from saluting or, you know, whatever they want to do. They're just not saluting it the same way because they don't feel that way. Like, so stop being fucking hypocrites. And if you want to protest. It's a lot better than shucking Molotov cocktails through a goddamn window. Like,
yeah, no, I agree. It's especially like the taking the knee or, you know, something like that. It's a peaceful protest. You know, I don't get why people are so upset. You know, they're saying it's disrespecting the troops or the flag. But since when is it only about the troops? America is about everybody. You know, it's not just that.
Yeah, I'm not sure I've heard any of the troops coming out and saying that they feel disrespected or slighted about it.
No. So it's very confusing to me on that. I don't get the whole blind nationalism thing either. Like you're talking about the Pledge of Allegiance earlier too. In school, you know, I was talking with, and my dad's always been very, you know, kind of questioning authority and has kind of instilled that in me. And when I was in grade school, he taught me, he said, you know, you don't have to stand up for the pledge. I said, what? He goes, yeah, you know, you don't have to. They can't make you legally. So I was a kid. I was like in fourth or fifth grade. And I decided, you know, every morning they make us say the pledge. You have to stand up and put your hand over your heart And I always thought it was weird because I was never raised religiously either. So I was never had that sort of blind following authority instilled in me. So I decided not to stand up anymore. And the teacher said, "Hey, you got to stand up." I said, "No, I don't," and sent me down to the principal. And after sending me down to the principal a couple times, and the principal saying, "Well, no, you don't have to." They're like, "But can you stand?" I was like, "No, I prefer not. I'll just sit here quietly." Like, "Oh, okay, just as long as you're not disrupting." And it really wasn't a big deal. This was back in the 80s.
Yeah.
And I just don't like, and it's been said before, if you want to live somewhere where saluting a flag and saying a pledge to the country is mandatory, hey, how about go to North Korea? That's where they do that kind of stuff. Here we have the freedom. I believe freedom is more important than a piece of cloth or, symbols. Than the symbols of freedom. The actual
people go
freedom
crazy
itself.
with that stuff where it's like the flag can't touch the ground, or then you have to burn it on this ceremonial thing, and it's like it's a fucking flag.
Exactly, it's idolatry. It's worshiping the nationalism. It's worshiping these symbols and objects, which I find, as a person of not faith, I find that odd.
I find it scary.
Yeah.
Because those are the people that'll be like that immediately, whenever anything turns into an issue, they're like, we should bomb everybody. And it's like, yeah, just wipe people off the face of the earth. You want the other side to feel that way? Because they would have bombed the fuck out of us by now,
Yeah.
Crazy.
Going along the lines, it's not lost on me that this is three white guys discussing this very
right. No, sure, absolutely. Yeah.
But I also go along the lines of thinking it seems, from an outsider's perspective, obviously not living in America, so I'm only seeing this through news stories and other instances. But it seems to me like people are going, "Oh, we love the national anthem because it represents our freedom of expression. How dare you express yourself in a different way than I want to express myself?"
Yeah, isn't that ironic? Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's pretty bizarre. It's definitely not something that you'd see in the UK. So it seems very, I wouldn't say it's like American centric. Like in America, it's the only place it happens, but it only seems to be like the real like prominent country that isn't known for being like
more
dictator
reasonable.
led, well, sort of dictator led or anything along those lines. A place that champions democracy, where you'd see this type of attitude.
Yeah, we're a country that wants everybody to be free, but would rather be controlled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love the freedoms that some of the freedoms that America gives us, but I believe being able to express those freedoms should be respected. As long as it's peaceful. I don't like you said. They're not shouting down the anthem. They're not flipping off the flag. It's not. It's a passive thing. I believe if people want to passively make their point, then I have no problem with that.
I could understand bitching if they were like they brought out megaphones, and when the national anthem started, you just hear that burr, 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 kind of thing like that. Then it'd be like, yo, come on, not gonna fuck off.
Yeah, but they're not interfering with anybody else's right to worship the flag. So
nope. Same as the gay marriage thing. If you don't want to be the type of person that marries gay people, then you can turn down the people that try to hire you to do it.
Yeah.
And if you want to be somebody that marries gay people, then you can do it. Then you can get hired. End of the story.
America.
Also, it wasn't lost to me when you said not living in America. Not living in America.
Yeah, I prefer that song.
Would you rather chew off your own hand or leg? Well, if we're talking about me being lazy, I'd rather chew off my hand. It's a lot less work.
Depends what hand. One of them's pretty useful to me.
If I'm going to go with, though, like what I could stand to lose,
right,
I'd be better off losing my leg than my hand.
Agreed.
Yeah, my career is writing for a living, so yeah, I pretty much prefer to have a leg lost.
Yeah, getting by with a false leg is probably much closer to normal living than getting away with a false hand, because I don't know, the hands are so articulate. You use them so much. And with the leg, I mean, it would help your mobility, but if I had to get rid of one, it would be a leg. Although, admittedly, chewing off a hand would probably be easier.
Let's put it this way. I don't want to always ask people to lend me a hand. And if I take off my leg, I still have a leg to stand on.
Are you pulling my leg?
If you were a wrestler in WWE, how would your career work out? Characteristics of persona, championship. We've kind of answered this.
How many times have we answered this?
A bunch of times. So the only thing I had to add is I would crash and burn.
Yeah.
I'd be a heel. I'd be the I don't know, the sort of better than you heel, sort of like what they were doing with Sandow and the Savior of the Masses kind of thing.
You'd be one of those types of heels that kneels on the national anthem.
That's right. Why haven't they not taken advantage of that? That would build up some super heat, I think.
Yeah. Let's see. If you don't watch Riverdale, a TV show on the CW, please watch it. Season 1 is on Netflix. Look up what it's about during this podcast. I've seen one episode of Riverdale, and I didn't like it.
I know it's based on the Archie comic series, and it's like supposedly, modernized and dark and dramatic, but other than that, I don't really know anything about it.
Yeah, I was going to ask, are these still Frankie's questions?
Yep.
Frankie, put question marks in your
Look up what it's about?
Yeah.
No, actually, the first time I saw a trailer for Riverdale, before I heard anything about it, I saw a trailer for it, and I thought it was a joke. So I was like, Jughead, Archie, Veronica, what? Oh, come on, this is a joke. And I was like, what? They're actually making a show about it? So is it good? You said you've seen it, Tony?
I didn't like it. Oh. It's very CW.
I don't watch any of those CW shows.
I struggle to continue to watch The Flash and Legends of Tomorrow. I stopped watching Arrow. They pissed me off too much. Would you rather Ember Moon or Charlotte beat Asuka first? And like when and where? I'd go between those two. I'd go Ember Moon because Charlotte doesn't need it. And I hope that Asuka doesn't lose until at least late 2018.
Yeah. It's going to be Charlotte, though. If anybody beats her, it's going to be Charlotte. Charlotte doesn't need it, but that's why they're going to give it to her.
I don't think it will be Charlotte. I'd prefer it to be Ember Moon. I think she'd need it more, and I think it tells a good story of how she rises up through NXT, does a few bits and pieces there, and then manages to finally match Asuka's level. But I don't want Asuka losing until I'd go even further to about 2019. And eventually they'll have a big feud between Charlotte and her, but I'd hope at that point Asuka had already lost, so it can be not so much 50-50, but a bit more competitive.
So this is, what are your thoughts on the Cliffside Park School issue with the teacher? Look it up if you don't. I very quickly looked it up, so I don't know if I'm missing some stuff.
Yeah, no idea.
What I had seen was some teacher got in trouble because they said, speak American. Now, I have one kind of issue with it and one kind of not. They should have said speak English.
Yeah, definitely.
I was going to say, what is American? Is that a new language I haven't heard of?
That's English, a couple of scales down on the evolutionary.
I got you.
Yeah.
My issue, though, it's actually kind of the opposite a little bit. I think that if you, we pretty much agree in the United States that English is our standardized language. So if you're in school, it's a public school, that's a public thing with standardized kind of mentalities, you should speak English. I don't think that that's wrong. It seems like this comes from a little bit of latent racism kind of thing, so that's wrong. And I don't know the context, and I don't know if that was speak American just because the people were Puerto Rican or something like that, or God knows what that kind of stuff is. But say speak English, and don't mean it to be you damn un-Americans or something like that kind of a thing. But yeah, you should probably speak English.
Well, I'd go along the lines if you're speaking to authority figures, because you should assume that if it's an American public school, they're going to be speaking English as the main language for out there. But if you're within social groups that speak other languages, then I don't see what the issue is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think any language should be discriminated against, but I do believe that everyone in the country should have access to the education to learn the English language. And they should take advantage of that.
Yeah.
And I don't think that we should have a million languages all over the place.
Yeah, whether it be primary or secondary language, I believe everybody here probably should. It would make sense to learn English, and I believe everyone should have access to learn English.
Mm-hmm. I think that we should stop printing a million languages on everything, too. I don't need to have a manual that takes up 20 times the space because you needed to put every possible language in the world on there. You know what I mean?
I will
That
say
kind of bugs me.
One thing, I'm grateful that my bank rearranged their thing. So now every time I put in my card to get money out of the ATM, I don't have to select English. So it saves me one button press now. So there you go.
Yeah, all those phone call things where it's like, for español, para numero dos. Like, whatever. It's like, not
I
gonna
don't mind
bother.
that. Yeah. No.
Nah, I
I'm
got
being
that extra.
facetious, too. It really doesn't bother me.
That extra split second can add up. Fuck them. Do you watch Shark Tank? Nope.
Nope.
I occasionally watch the British equivalent, which is called Dragon's Den.
Which is called Sharkies.
Sharky,
Sharkies.
Sharky Tankies, yeah.
Sharky Tank.
No, it's actually even weirder. It's called Dragon's Den in the UK. So instead of sharks, we have dragons.
And instead of tanks, you've got dens.
Yeah, it sounds like it's be like a sports team game between like the sharks and the dragons battling in like the home team is in the den and the away team's in the tank and stuff.
Like the sequel to West Side Story.
Yeah. A lot of money involved,
Let's see
though.
what we have. Like Peter's, not Peter's questions. Frankie's last question here. Where would you rank the Shield on the top tag teams WWE list?
Are we talking all time or current?
I'm assuming all time. And I would say they're in the discussion for top 25, but they're nowhere near top 5.
I might put them in top 10, though. I would say definitely not top 5, but maybe top 10.
I'd go, I'd say top 10, maybe
top 10.
Just because they're quite, I think it's hard because the Shield were very good in their time and it might be slightly enhanced by the fact that they've all had very successful singles careers after that as well. Whereas as a tag team, as a trio, they didn't actually really accomplish much. They had one tag team title reign. Obviously, they've now got a tag team title reign again, but in their initial run, they only had one tag team title reign, and Dean Ambrose was United States champion because no one would fight him for it. So, in terms of like their actual stats, it's not really that impressive.
I think when you got like the Road Warriors, the Dudley Boys, Hardy Boys, even the New Day, Edge and Christian, there's too many teams that are too good to have the Shield be in the same kind of thing. They're more like Evolution. They're a good stable that built up single stars rather than a good team necessarily on the same par. Okay. But they are up there. I mean, it's not like they're like, the Killer Bees or something. Now we can start getting into Peter's questions here. We're going to skip a couple of Peter's, but breeze through a couple of these real quick because we got a lot to get to still. Have you ever played Never Have I Ever? Let me just take a drink real quick.
Yes, I have.
Yes. I tend to win because I've never done anything. So I make it a mission not to do anything, so I win all the time.
Question 2. Have you ever been in a penitentiary? Nope. Never been locked up yet. Never actually visited one either.
No, I've never visited any of those things. Any jails or prisons.
Have you ever watched...
I was arrested once for an unpaid speeding ticket, though. But I didn't spend any... I didn't actually go to jail. They just gave me a court date. The guy pulled me over, and he's like, well, you have an unpaid speeding ticket. I said, oh, sorry. Can I go pay it? He's like, no, I have to take you downtown. You're under arrest. I got to take you to the court. So he just took me to the one building, set me up a court date, and then I went home. And then I went to court the next week. So
you got an unpaid parking ticket.
Yeah.
What ticket? The one I just wrote?
Yeah.
You didn't pay it yet.
But yeah, not really. No, that doesn't really count, I don't think. Traffic. That's it.
Have you watched any rebooted TV shows? I watched Heroes Reborn, sucked balls. And I've seen a couple episodes of that Hawaii Five-0 show. I
started to watch Heroes Reborn. That was not good?
No, that was disappointing.
Yeah.
Peter and Siler don't even show up at all.
What the fuck?
Not the entire time.
I did watch the one that I think is probably the best of all the reboot shows that I've ever watched, and I absolutely love, was Battlestar Galactica, the one that came out in 2004 or 5, I think. That is very good. I think better than the original. So BSG, go watch Battlestar Galactica.
I don't know if it really counts the reboot, but I like the new version of the Muppet Show, like the Muppets Office version.
I didn't see that either. That was good.
That would count.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, it was a huge departure from the original Muppet Show, but right. I thought it was more adult orientated because it was obviously appealing to people that had watched the show as a kid and now grown up. So I thought it was really well done. I don't think it was very well received by the majority, but I liked it.
Now, this one's confusing me. I'm going to read it the way that Peter's put it out there, because I don't know the context of this, but do you think that Ultra Sin and Moon, I think it's Ultra Sun and Moon,
Right.
the new Pokemon games, will let up on the lady part jokes? The Mallow special is pounding downstairs, and the Ultra Wormhole is lady down their part. This is a kid's game, right? I don't know what the context is for this, but if they've got a joke in there of we're gonna pound you downstairs and hit your lady parts or something, then what the fuck is happening with Pokemon?
I've played Moon, but I guess I never picked up on that, or I didn't play it. I haven't completed it yet.
I played Sun the entire way through, and it didn't really stick out to me. Like the biggest thing that stuck out was kind of the female character, the female lead character, as presumably, or besides your character, obviously. What was her name? The blonde one.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, she was coming across as like quite a weak female character, like this. I think, oh my god, I'm so helpless. I need you to do this for me. Please save this stuff all the time. So that was if there was any sort of thing like that, that was the only element I was picking up on.
Do you like the split screen on SmackDown? Peter says it's too small for him. I like it. I hope that they start doing that on Raw.
It's better than just watching commercials.
Yeah, I was gonna say anything that's not just commercials works.
I came to watch a wrestling show, not a bunch of like people eating pizza or something like that, or some
KFC commercials.
Yeah, some American adverts are weird.
See, now I might be unique in this. I don't know if either of you guys took advantage of it when they used to do the second screen experience. So when they would go to commercial, you could actually follow it on the app live. I like that. I didn't mind.
I didn't bother with it.
But
that's too much effort. It's better when it's just on the screen in front of you. It's like you're forced to watch it. If I'm forced to watch it, then I'll do it. If I have to actually just pick up my phone and do something else, then I'll leave it.
So much work. You're right.
I'm a millennial. I have to.
I can't turn my head and push a button.
Yeah.
God, what do you want me to do next? Like, build a fucking house?
You want me to lean over and pick up the remote?
Yeah.
God.
That's when you got things like Siri and stuff now. Instead, there's people going like, hey, Google, do this for me. Do you think the Cruiserweight division is in trouble now that Neville and Aries have walked? No, not really.
It couldn't be any worse.
No.
It's like saying like it's in trouble. It was in trouble from pretty much the night that it started, so I don't really see how it's gone any.
Yeah, it's a low level thing.
Yeah, the fact that Neville was doing really well. I'm not going to discredit any of his accomplishments or the fact that he's fantastic in the ring, and his promos definitely improved a lot during his Cruiserweight title run. But he wasn't moving the needle any more than anybody else on that show was. So.
Yeah, I don't like that Neville left. I think he was a great part of the division. But I think they still have quite a lot of talent they can work with. One thing that I do wish that they wouldn't have done, that they've kind of stepped away from a little bit, is just over branding it, with the ropes and the lights and the everything, hey guys, cruiserweights, it's cruiserweight time, guys, it's cruiserweights. Like, okay, we get it. I think they kind of oversold the fact that, hey, this is different, everybody. You should pay attention. I think it had the opposite effect that, oh, it's only cruiserweights, bathroom break,
Yeah. Did you hear that Bully Ray was talking to The Undertaker and said that he was pissed at Elias for using Old School? I don't really buy into that too much. There's a possibility it could be true, but I don't think that he's necessarily pissed.
I'd be surprised if Bully Ray was talking to The Undertaker, if I'm completely honest with you. Maybe they did go back, but I've never heard that Bully Ray was kind of in Undertaker's crew of like people they used to hang out with.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it potentially happened, but at the end of the day, what are you really gonna do about it? He's not wrestling anymore. It's a cool looking move, so why not just let someone else have it?
Makes sense. Walk with Elias.
Yep,
he's got the name for it.
Yeah, and it's not like Undertaker's trademarked the move. He's not analysing and calling it old school. So
yeah, he's not like doing the tombstone and calling it the tombstone.
Like realistically, was Undertaker the first person to ever use that move? Probably not. So it's just the way wrestling goes. You pass moves on to the next person.
Mm-hmm.
This one I thought was kind of funny. My cousin just came out, no big deal. So if someone questions your straightness, who's your go-to woman to prove it? My first instinct, Victoria Justice, Renee Young. I was also thinking Chelsea from That's So Raven, then or now on Raven's Home. I don't know who Chelsea is. My girlfriend. That's my go-to to be like, nah.
I mean, surely if you have a go-to, that's kind of like, it puts you in a position where, oh, so you've just had this person lined up to prove, oh, see, I like this person, I'm not gay. That's kind of like, sure, you lined up someone to really prove the point, to really hammer it home. I kind of just go along the lines of, yeah, I don't like dudes. And
yeah, I was going to say, what is this? Someone questions your straightness. Like,
yeah,
I don't, does that happen? I don't know. Even if it did happen to me, like, okay, cool. You don't, I mean, it doesn't matter to me if somebody thinks I'm straight or gay or whatever. It does.
No.
It's
not an insult. It's not an insult.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
It's like it really.
I like how
if
you can
someone asks me,
quantify it, though.
I'll be honest. Like, yes, I'm a straight man. I am not interested in men, but I don't really think it's any of their business unless I'm trying to sleep with them or something. So,
I mean, if people are questioning my straightness, I need to kind of stop walking at right angles.
I think the reason that people would question any straightness is because of the name Kaylin.
I thought maybe
Girl's,
girl's
name.
my scoliosis.
Then Peter follows this up with, when I mentioned Renee in the last question, my mom said Renee is old. What do you think? I think 10 years older is a lot, but Renee is only 7 years, 11 months, 2 weeks, 3 days older than me. It's one of my autism powers. I see a birthday, I can tell how much older the person is to me. That's a great power to have. I don't know.
First of all,
be great for a carnival game.
Not Renee old. She's Renee Young.
That's true. So it boils down to how old is too old for somebody to date. I think if you have a distance where the person that you're dating, either one of you can have kids the other one's age, then it's too big of a gap.
I'd say kind of at the age that I am now, about 25. If you're if the person you're dating is wearing diapers at either end of the spectrum, then it's definitely too far.
I think as long as everybody's a consenting adult and no one is pressured into it for whatever reason, like, you know, the Harvey Weinstein thing comes out recently. So even if people are consenting, maybe it's for, you know, reasons that they think will look at their career ahead or they feel pressured for whatever reason. So I think as long as everyone is just making informed decisions, I don't think it really matters after a certain point. Once you get in your 20s, it's like, I don't know, it doesn't really matter.
No. And put it this way, I think the age gap increases dependent on also the size of someone's bank account.
Yeah, that's true. You get some like 70-year-old dudes dating some 19-year-olds, and it's like, oh yeah, I wonder why. You know.
No, they really love each other, Tony.
He has a 12-inch personality.
Another question here from Peter: who is the next to get pregnant? Do the pregos count? In the sexiest women's tournament, I think Renee Young is next. If she keeps Frenching her dog, he's got one more. All right, I'm lost in the dog thing, but the pregnant women do count in the sexiest women's tournament. I personally find pregnant women to be not attractive. I do not follow that fetish, but we're not going to be judging them based off of their pregnancy kind of thing. They're still just going to be. We're going to look at them as like Maurice and Maria, or I'll be like, hey, you know what Maurice and Maria look like, that kind of a thing.
Now, Tony, admittedly, I may have skipped a day in health class. Does French kissing a dog get you pregnant?
Well, you'll have to just figure that out next week on our next main event of
Next week is the main event is the after school special. Just to figure out a
special episode of Smack.
Instead of the bell being ding ding ding, it's going to be like the beginning of the class. As far as the question of who's the next to get pregnant, I don't know, Paige. She seems like she could get knocked up at any point.
Oh boy.
Or knocked out.
Or same day.
Yeah. Maybe that's what Nia Jax's personal reasons are.
Yeah, could be.
Maybe Becky Lynch again.
I still don't believe that.
I totally do. I'm totally sold until they do something that makes me think otherwise.
Who is next? I'm going to say, let's see, randomly, I'm going to pick Alicia Fox, just because.
Yeah, I just don't know who's dating who at the moment.
That'd be a good storyline thing. Be like, she's been crazy this whole time because it's just hormones.
Yeah.
He also asked, he says that Renee said on our podcast before that she's pretty upset with life and like, what can they do to kind of like fix that around? I think that Renee feels like she's not using her talents in a sense of that she wants to interview people more. And she probably feels a little bit pissed that Unfiltered and Talking Smack aren't there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think she probably feels quite creatively stifled almost. And
Yeah, because these interviews that they do are just, here's my line to pitch it to somebody else to talk, and then I'm going to stare at the camera while it fades away. That's not creative.
yeah, and everyone else is like so bad at it. I mean, she stands out. I'm not saying that she's bad at her job or she's only good because other people make her look good. It's just everyone else is just so bad that it makes her look so much better because, and she is really good, but she has a lot of personality and can actually approach people and ask questions and get involved in the segment, whereas everyone else just is essentially a microphone stand.
Yeah, basically. We have Christopher's questions and Ben's, and we're going to kind of breeze through some of these a little bit quickly here because we're running out of time. But this one's hard to say, too, so this is something we might just put a pin on. But Christopher asks, who will be WWE Champion or Universal Champion in the coming years? I think there's way too many people to pick.
James Ellsworth. Tyler Breeze, Connor from the Ascension, but not
Well, Connor will win the WWE title. Victor will win the Universal.
Oh man,
they'll take him back to the wasteland.
There's a lot of people, and especially if we count the people that have already won the titles, that they'll win it back. Like Reigns will clearly win it again. Styles will win it again. Nakamura, I think, will. Balor. Yeah, there's a lot. Anybody who's like that main event type of person.
Of anybody who's never won it that I want to win, it's got to be Strowman.
I hope so.
They have to give him a world title.
Yeah,
I hope Strowman and I hope Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
If we go with someone who hasn't held it before that I want to see hold it, I want Bobby Roode to win the title. I think he'd be really good as a WWE champion.
I think he will too. And this one's tough to say too. It's if you could erase any title reigns, what would you pick? We answered it before in the past, and I don't remember my answer, but I off the top of my head, I can't think of any. So there's an issue in the past of the mailbag where I'm pretty sure we answered that one. But off the top of your heads, can you guys think of any real quick?
Jinder?
All of our Jinder's quite a tough one. all of Alberto Del Rio's reigns.
Oh yeah.
I'd get rid of every single one of them. I'm trying to think. We're just going with WWE?
Yeah.
If we're just going with WWE, then I'd say Triple H's reign in 2002, 2003, essentially, where he just held the World Heavyweight Championship the entire time. I would have gone rid of that. Because I think that kind of is one of the reasons why there was a big downturn in.
That was one of the reasons
wrestling.
I lost interest. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it was all the Triple H show.
I'm not saying he shouldn't have held it at all during that period, but for the length that he did hold it, I'd say if you have to erase it or it stays the same, then I'd get rid of it.
I'd get rid of that No Mercy Orton Triple H back and forth. That was bullshit.
Oh yeah, that was. Yeah, you might as well just give it all the title.
What movies are you anticipating? As far as the rest of the year of 2017, my top 3: Last Jedi, Justice League, and Thor Ragnarok.
The only one I could say is Star Wars. That's the only one I'm going to say this year.
Yeah, same. That's the only one that I'm definitely going to watch.
I typically only go to the theaters once a year, and if it's Star Wars, then that's the movie that I see that year.
I just signed up for Movie Pass to see even more movies.
What is that? That's like Netflix. You pay a subscription or something, or
it's $10 a month, and you can see any movie that you want one time for free, and you can see every movie that's out. So you could basically go see every movie that's out one time and only spend $10 that entire month. So that's pretty awesome. I haven't used it yet, but
I was gonna say, do you have to pay annually, or can you do it for 1 month? Or
no, you can do it per month. So you can just stop and then you see a month like a summer movie month where it's going to be like a lot. Pay $10, go to see every single movie that's there, and you don't have to spend a dime other than the $9.95 or whatever it is.
That makes sense. I just don't like going to the theater because the other people are rude as shit.
I love going to the theater. I love hearing people laughing at like the funny parts and stuff, and
Nope. If I could rent out a theater and be the only person there, that would be wonderful. Actually,
go-
because when I saw what was it, episode 7 on the last day it was in theaters. I saw it on it was like a Wednesday afternoon at like 11:30 in the morning or something, and it was me and this old couple, probably in their 60s or 70s, and that was it in the whole theater. One of the best experiences I've had.
And I'm like, I go opening night for everything.
Nope.
Yeah, no, couldn't stand that. Couldn't stand all the people. If I was to say one other movie that I'm looking forward to towards the end of 2017 is Pitch Perfect 3. I really, really enjoy the Pitch Perfect series.
Haven't seen them, but Anna Kendrick is very, very cute.
I watched the first one, bits of it when I was at the gym, because it's always on the one TV. So when I go on the treadmill, I just scan the different TVs, and I think I've probably seen the whole movie, but in bits and pieces out of order. It was all right.
If you could appear on any show, what would it be? I'd actually pick Monday Night Raw.
Is it just wrestling shows or any show?
Any show.
Maybe Keenan and Kel when it was on. That would have been fun.
Can I be on Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous and they give me one of those houses?
Yeah, just be on Cribs and just choose the best house and just hide in the wardrobe when they're filming. Just, if it's a wrestling show, then I'd want to be on NXT because I think I'd be booked correctly.
I'd have to split this into two things, because if we're talking game shows, I would love to be on Jeopardy. It's one of my life goals. I've auditioned several times. I've met the producers a few times, and one of these days I'm going to actually be a contestant on Jeopardy. So that would be number one. Also, I'm in the contestant pool right now for Beat Shazam, that game show. So as a music geek, I would love to be on there too. If we're talking other than game shows, I'd like scripted TV, I'd probably say It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
That's a good choice too, yeah. I'd also like to be immortalized into The Simpsons.
That'd be nice.
Even though I wish that they would immortalize me in like season 8.
Yeah, I was going to say if I could go back in time, but it's like, hey, weren't you on that one episode in season 39 of The Simpsons? No.
One of my high school teachers that I didn't actually have his class, but I had him like for other things and stuff. He is on an episode of The Simpsons.
Okay.
Because he knows somebody that was like an animator at the time. And I forget what episode it is, but it's the one where it starts off and everybody's saying about like their people are like New Yorkers and stuff. And I think it's Hans Maltman bumps into somebody and the guy goes, "Hey, how'd you like a Details magazine up the wazoo?"
Yeah.
He's not that guy saying it, but he's the guy that's like walking by and looking at the two of them like, huh? That's Lampone.
Okay.
I was just like, dude, that's fucking awesome. Like, he's like, yeah, I got my cell and like everything. I'm like, that's so fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher Marin's other question is, what's your favorite food?
Pasta. Food again. Oh, really?
Pasta, number one. There's so many different ways that you can do it. Tortellini, you can do lasagna, you can do ziti, you can do fucking spaghetti and meatballs, just chicken Alfredo, chicken Parmesan. Take buttered shells. That's fucking amazing. I'm gonna eat some pasta tonight probably now.
Noodles and
cereal.
sauce doesn't do it for me. I don't know. It's just too starchy and carby and just.
I love my starches.
Ugh.
Pizza's number 2, by the way.
I mean, speaking of chicken, should we move on to Kaylin now?
Hey, actually, chicken doesn't even make my top. Actually, it's probably number 3. Number 1, tacos. Tacos by far, tacos. Number 2, sushi, and number 3, probably chicken.
Sushi's right on my like low level, like bottom of the bottom almost.
Well, you haven't had the right sushi then. If you have good sushi, it's fantastic.
I'll hold you to that, but I'm not gonna try it out too much.
Come to my city. I'll take you to the best sushi restaurant in town. So.
Oh god, I better get my coat and get the ticket sorted.
That's right.
I'd probably go with I like chicken Kievs, like garlic chicken, like the mixture of the 2 flavors, really good for me. Pasta, do like eating a lot of pasta. A lot of just any types of meat, so pork, lamb.
How good is
sausages.
steak?
Steak. Oh yeah.
How did steak not make my top 3?
Yeah, steak's got to be high up there for me.
Give me some steak with a baked potato with a bunch of butter and fucking chives and stuff on there, bacon. Oh my god.
All right, we're all going out to eat after this.
Let's go to Ben's questions. What do you think that Asuka's WrestleMania, or who do you think Asuka's WrestleMania opponent is going to be? Either Nia Jax, Alexa Bliss, or both?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a combination. I don't think we're going to get a one-on-one this year.
I'm hoping it's one-on-one. I think it's going to be Alexa Bliss, but if it's going to be a multi-person, I think it's going to be Bliss, Nia Jax, and maybe someone else as well. I can imagine them doing another fatal four-way.
Mm-hmm. Maybe Sasha.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
Either Sasha or Bailey, maybe.
Or Paige.
Or Mickey. So many options.
As long as they're not pregnant. Who has the best spear in WWE history? My gut reaction was actually going to say Roman Reigns.
Is it bad that my mind just went to Kamala?
I tell you who has one of the worst is I don't really like Goldberg's all that much.
Yeah.
It's more of a tackle, really, for Goldberg than a spear.
Yeah.
Because he lifts them up in the air and takes them down. Reigns' one is really good. I like Batista's spear.
Well.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of Batista so much. I would say either Rhino or Edge. I like their spears.
Yeah, Rhino's. But that's a gore. It's not a spear.
Yeah, okay. Excuse me.
If Edge's was done by a guy who was as big as some of the other people, I think that'd be perfect. That's why I kind of like Roman Reigns the best, because I think that he's got a good kind of combo between Batista and Edge.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I will say that Caitlyn had an underrated spear as well.
That's right. She did have a spear. Forgot about her.
And it was really good because when she hit it on AJ, because AJ was so small, it was like her breaking her in half all the time.
And Charlotte's isn't too bad.
No, I prefer she used that to a finisher compared to, as like a move that could win a match as opposed to her big boot.
Yeah. Which superstar's entrance music does not fit their character whatsoever? Wesley Blake. If you listen to his theme, it makes no sense at all. Go back to the last takeover that he was on. It's one of the worst things I've seen as far as entrances.
But can you say
I don't...
I was going to say, can you say it doesn't really fit his character because what is his character?
I don't even know, but it doesn't seem to fit anything. It seems like it should be something completely unrelated to wrestling at all. It doesn't work at all. I don't think that Emma's really fits her, and I don't think at this point Mickie James's does either.
No, Mickie James' one is weird.
Mm-hmm.
She needs a new one.
Yeah, it's just too bouncy and it's almost like a. We'd imagine. I don't want to go down the age route again, but it sounds like something that you would have a teenage wrestler or something come out to.
It's like a Bailey type thing.
Yeah, she seems like she's done a lot of like country music in the past, so maybe it could be something associated with that.
I can see that. Does Lana still have that weird one?
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of that.
She still has that.
I would say that.
It doesn't fit her like original character.
Mm-mm.
Can't really think of too many other people that don't really fit. Like maybe something like a Roderick Strong or something, because his theme music should just be like the mute sound or something like that, just like static. That fit his character pretty well.
I would say maybe Kalisto before they changed it back to the Lucha one. I didn't like that one.
Yeah, I can't think of any other people off the top of my head. There's probably a couple in NXT.
Yeah, there's usually a few people that are still trying to get themselves settled in a new thing. I didn't when DIY were a team, I didn't really think the theme suited Tommaso Ciampa. Like this crazy psycho killer guy, and he was coming out to this really like peppy music as well.
I'm drawing a blank on some other people. I don't remember what Lars Sullivan's theme is.
Dolph Ziggler's one is perfect now because it's nothing. So.
God, imagine if Glorious would have been Shinsuke Nakamura like they planned. That wouldn't have fit at all.
No.
Two more questions here. When Paige returns, is she going to be a heel or a babyface? I hope a heel, and I hope that she doesn't get too much of a push. I don't think she deserves it. Agreed. I think she should be the heel that gets sacrificed.
Did you see the report that came out recently about some of the women on the roster and their paychecks?
No, what was that?
It was released earlier. And it, I don't know. I'll link you to it after the show here. But it looks like Paige, she's still on the payroll and she's making more money than Emma.
Jesus.
currently. Yeah,
She hasn't done anything for 2 years.
Emma's the lowest paid, and Paige is the second lowest
Emma's the lowest paid, or in the entire women's roster.
of the ones that were on that particular list.
All right, because I can't imagine she's making more than Tamina.
Or
I
Aaliyah.
believe she is. Double check that.
I guess Tamina's been there for quite a while, so I guess it gradually works its way up.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'd hope she comes in as a heel. I think she would be a really good opponent for Becky Lynch. Give her something to do on SmackDown. I do hope she goes on SmackDown. I think they need it a lot more than Raw.
Yeah. And our final one is, can you think of any big names in WWE who don't have a nickname, like the Boss, the Beast, the Big Dog? And if you can, what kind of a nickname would you give them? I can't think of a single person, because everybody who's big enough has some kind of a nickname.
Yeah, eventually they get onto that sort of level. What's Jason Jordan's new one?
That's what I was just thinking. Yeah,
it's kind of like Gold-Blooded or something along those lines, isn't it?
yeah.
So I wouldn't constitute him a big name, not yet.
I mean, Matt Hardy doesn't really have a nickname at the moment.
Yeah, like the Big Show's got the world's largest athlete. Strowman's got the Monster Among Men, the Mountain of a Man. Bray Wyatt's got the Eater of Worlds. Brock Lesnar, of course, is the Beast Incarnate. Ambrose is the Lunatic Fringe. Like, they all have something. Seth Rollins is the Architect and the Kingslayer, and The Miz is the A-lister. Like, everybody's got something, but...
What's Finn Balor's nickname?
The Demon.
The Demon.
Yeah, but that's a different character than... No, I know we're going down this route again with the different things, but the Demon is portrayed as a different character to Finn Balor. When he's actually Finn Balor, he doesn't actually have a nickname. So he's just called Balor Club or something like that.
The Demon King, I mean, they've called him that. That's a little bit of a switch, but...
I don't think he really has one, and to be fair, he's so bland that I can't really think of one that would really fit him.
Even the women, like, I can't think of any. Like, does Nia Jax have one? Other than the Monster.
She's not like most girls.
Bailey doesn't really have one. They call her the Hugger, but that's not really like her nickname.
No, I can't. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think she has one either. Like Emma doesn't have one.
Yeah, Empress of Tomorrow for Asuka. Yeah, the women more than anything. Becky Lynch has a couple. Carmella.
Last kicker. Yeah.
Carmella has something, doesn't she? Yeah, the Princess of Staten Island.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You have Tamina as like the daughter of a killer or something like that.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody who's like a real like flat out big enough name though. Does Kevin Owens have one?
He kind of switches from he went from the prize fighter to the face of America.
Prize fighter, yeah, that's right. Yeah, so really nobody else, because it's like, Mojo Rawley is not big enough to be like, let's give him a bunch of nicknames, and Sami Zayn doesn't have one that I can think of.
That's what I was thinking.
Maybe he's the best up. I don't know what kind of a nickname I'd give him though. Dork.
He's the underdog from the underground.
That's right. Yeah, they got that one. Yeah, so pretty much they all, if they're big enough, they get some kind of nicknames here and there.
Mm.
Which goes to show, if you don't have a nickname right now, you're not big enough.
Mm-hmm.
Even Titus O'Neil has a nickname.
Yeah, big deal, Titus O'Neil.
Mm.
So that's it. Those are our mailbag answers. I almost said our mailbag questions. So thank you to everybody who sent those in. Make sure that if you did not get a chance to send in your questions, or if you wanted us to kind of piggyback off of something and answer something else sort of like that, submit them as soon as you can for November. So that way I'll backlog them and we'll get around to them when we get around to them sometime around the end of the month or so. Kind of depends on Survivor Series and such. So probably the week after Survivor Series is when we'll do that. And yeah, that's it for that. But tell us if you have any answers for these in the comments below. Just drop them there. And make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't done that already. And check off the bell, ring that for notifications. And follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Smark Out Moment. I got the Twitter sorted out. The reason why it was all messed up was because they put me into a spam filter automated bot thing. and me calling their attention to it, they were like, whoops. So no issues with that anymore, thankfully. And that's for my side of plugs. So let's pass it over to these guys. Callum, what's up?
Okay, well, you guys can follow me on Twitter at Wigmeister14, and I'll just plug the regular content which is going on the Smark Out Moment website for the weekly articles, all written by very fine writers. So check them out because we have some very interesting opinions on wrestling, much more interesting than any of your guys' stuff. Inform your own opinions with better ones.
Kalen?
When you're sending in your questions for next time, do more food questions. I like the food questions a lot. So
The old food bag instead of the mailbag.
Yes, the food bag. Oh, there we go. The feed bag. You can check me out appearing this Saturday with Northwest Ohio Wrestling here in the Toledo, Ohio area. It's our Halloween show. It's going to be a lot of fun, and some of us are going to be in costume. So come check that out and follow us on Facebook at Northwest Ohio Wrestling.
Let me know when you have a Christmas show, and then I'll appear in that one instead.
I still say if we do a whole food-related episode, it needs to be called Snack Talk.
Oh, Snack Out Moment.
Alrighty, everybody, that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. We will see you next time. This has been another Smark Out Moment, and we are being counted out.